Hi there, Scorpio. Welcome to your end of August 2019 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. And so, we're having a new moon. And it's on the 30th of August. So, it's exactly a week from when I'm recording this. And this is going to be at 6 degrees of Virgo in your 11th house of hopes and wishes. The 11th house is also the house of friendships and groups. This is great for new networking opportunities, especially as connected to your work. I mean, I'm assuming that most people who network are doing so for professional reasons. And this can be a time when, you're able to do something that makes your dreams or your long-range goals more likely to come true. Because you also have Venus and Mars there. I believe Mercury, not sure. Probably should have checked before I opened my mouth, but I wasn't even really going to talk about this too much in detail. So anyway, just want to give that little backdrop so that we can see what else is kind of on tap for you. I actually have a couple of cards here that I'm thinking have a different connotation. Like this card, the Two of Pentacles, sometimes it's juggling two jobs. Like sometimes it can be like if you're having a certain financial situation where you're kind of paying one bill one month and then paying another bill another month. But I think this has to do, I don't even think this has to do with, well, it could have to do with a choice. The number 2, whenever you see that, and this is the heart of the matter, that perhaps there is this choice, but you see in the background, there is water and a boat. This could be a job offer that is overseas. Now, whether or not, I think, I guess you might have to decide whether or not to take this job. I think that it's looking like that is the better route to go. Because the higher message here is the World card, and one of the interpretations of the World card is travel. World travel, like long distance travel. So that would go along with the Two of Pentacles. This is the spiritual message. So, as a spiritual message, it could be, speaking about it in the bigger picture, that this is something maybe that will create expansion for you. And, Scorpio. And perhaps you will have a more eye-opening kind of like period of time if you decide to go this route. Now, looking at, and by the way, this is coming off of a lot of energy in Leo, which is your 10th house of career. So that might have been what caused the need for this choice, because you're getting these offers, getting a lot of expansive energy with career matters. Now, the other thing too is that Jupiter has recently gone direct in your 2nd house of earned income, so that might be heating up too. The other thing, in personal relationships, if you're deciding whether or not to stay with a Sagittarian, the Temperance card in the past position, or maybe this is a new person that you've met. Temperance is connected to Sag, but that could be a choice in personal relationships. Maybe, do I want this practical relationship with an earth sign, or do I want this Sagittarian? And you might be tempted for the earth sign, or whoever it is that is more of a practical individual, because water and earth are naturally compatible. But the fire can be it might be unsettling, but that might be very intriguing for you. What else did I want to say? There was something else I wanted to say about this. It's really interesting because the Temperance card to me is about balance. And really, I mean, it can be between the spiritual and the material. Sometimes, to me, that can simply be, if you're somebody who tends to be a workaholic, Scorpio, that you realize that you are neglecting your family or your significant other because you're so focused on the career that your love life is going into the toilet or something like that. But or just even your spiritual life. The angel has 1 foot in water, 1 foot on land, and the water represents the spiritual, and of course you're a water sign. So you kind of vibe in the water, and in that spiritual realm yourself. But you may feel more like the earth or the pentacles, the practical side, where you feel like, hey, yeah, that's true, but I have to take care of business here. And yet there was something that I wanted to say, and the Pentacles is about that kind of juggling act that you may be doing. But I think that the World card, too, can talk about a chapter ending in your life. And I don't know exactly what that means. I mean, it might even be for some of you that living in the country that you're currently in is a chapter ending, that you're like meant to go to some other country, and that will be your home base, at least for a while. It's funny, I was just watching a spiritual video on YouTube, and this woman was talking about saying that she noticed so many changes in the last month. And that's kind of what the World card is like. Okay, this is over with. And now it's time to make this choice about whether or not you're going to really, do something completely out of the box, like go somewhere new, far, far away, over a body of water even. What crosses you is the Chariot card. Now, there are, many definitions or interpretations of the Chariot card. One of them is travel, but this is in the challenge position. So there may be something within you that feels uncomfortable with this idea. Maybe you don't like to fly on planes. But something that is preventing you, even if it's psychologically, from doing this. The Chariot card, too, if you see that the person is holding on to the reins of the horse, can signify that the person has gotten their self focused on what it is that they want, and they're kind of like not allowing their thoughts to run amok. They're very one-pointed in their thoughts. And this is actually, the Chariot is actually a card of victory and I think like forward movement, but it's in the challenge position. So there's something that is keeping you from being one-pointed. And I think with the Two of Pentacles, it might be that you're trying to do so much at one time. Maybe you have different irons in the fire. Perhaps you literally do have two jobs. And even if you've gotten this job offer, you're afraid that your other gig is going to be affected. Or that, you know, it could be that you're taking care of a parent or doing something. Maybe you have a building that you own and you have to take care of that, and then you have a day job and you're like, you know, Calgon, take me away. Oh God, does that sound like? How many people are going to remember that one? But that idea of being kind of stretched in all these different directions and not feel like you can just be one-pointed and just really concentrate. Actually, I think Scorpios are probably one of the best at concentration. I think there's like a laser-like focus. But again, you know, it's all situational. There may have been a lot of things, a lot of developments in your life, especially in the last month, with the Leo energy in the 10th house, that have kind of made you feel like you have to step up to the plate and take it to the next level, and you're just kind of what's that word, like harried and yeah, a bit jumbled and distracted, and you probably know that you would be so much more effective if you could only get everything together. What's coming in is the Nine of Swords. This is a card of anxiety. I think this is, you know, kind of a continuation of what I'm talking about, an outgrowth of the Two of Pentacles. This may be a very hectic time for some of you for, you know, a particular reason. I'm trying to think astrologically what that could be. Offhand, I can't think of it. I'm sure if I were to really like look at what's going on, I could figure it out. But in any case, whatever it is, if that seems to be true for you, it might be that you have like a wonderful opportunity, and that's what makes you anxious, because you feel like, how can I turn this down? But then by the same token, you may feel like, but I don't really, I'm kind of ambivalent about this. I mean, I have other responsibilities. I have other things going on. You may not feel ready to make a decision yet. And yet, there may be a pressing reason why you have to. There might be a deadline. There might be... So, basically what I would say to you, Scorpio, if you do feel things along this line, is don't make everything the ultimate, you know, turning point in your life. Because even if you have a wonderful opportunity, if you're not feeling it for some reason, then it probably isn't the right time for it, even if it's the best thing in the world. You have to be able to feel good about that thing, and especially if it's going to involve a drastic life change, then you can feel comfortable knowing that you're not prepared, you're just not in that mode to be able to do it, and don't feel like this is it, you'll never have any other opportunities. But understand that if you're anxious, that you can relieve your anxiety too. And of course, meditation is a big thing. I think with the Chariot card, it's talking about, there's often the analogy used of the wild horses, and driving the chariot instead of the man driving the chariot, and how our thoughts can get away from us, and then we don't have control over them, and they take us wherever they're going to take us. So you have to gain control and grab the reins of the horse. And you do that through sitting in meditation and allowing your thoughts to pass. And sometimes you can even do contemplation, where you might even just sit there and think the worst case scenario and see where it takes you in your mind. And you realize when you do that, when you're not trying to stop those kinds of thoughts, you realize that it's all just thoughts, and that thoughts don't, that they're illusions. They're and you can just observe them like they are apart from you, and you can detach from them. And speaking of that, the outcome is the Queen of Swords. Whenever I get this card, I always think this person's going to make a decision, this woman. And the female, the reason that they have the Queen in this particular scenario is because it's the feminine principle, and it's also related to water, which I just recently found out. So we have, with the swords, connected to air energy, we have the air and the water combined. Well, they couldn't be more diverse, could they? Air is logic, water is emotion. Emotion is not logical, and logic is not emotional. But somehow they have to find common ground. So you come from the heart when you make your decision, Scorpio, but you don't allow your emotions to color your logic, and you make a decision. Whenever I see a queen or a king, I think about somebody who has self-mastery over their life. They're not allowing the events of their life to get the best of them. And so, don't you do that. It seems to me with this reading that there's opportunity here, but there's also transition. And transition can be very messy, especially for a fixed sign that loves constancy, that loves predictability and routine, as you probably do. And you have to be able to embrace change, because that is just a given in life, but also opportunity, because this sounds to me like you have an opportunity and it's making you anxious. And acknowledge that. Don't be afraid to admit that you're a little bit full of trepidation about something, but it can also be very exciting, even if it's unnerving. So remember that. Okay, Scorpio, I hope that this resonated for some of you, and if you'd like a personalized reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.